Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Object of Your Gaze podcast. And this is our second episode, and I'm so glad you're here tuning in. And yeah, this is the Object of Your Gaze podcast where we assess our gaze. What we mean is, where is your attention today? Where's your affection? And many times, those things determine where your heart is and determines what you're thinking about and how you're living your life. So it's important that we assess our gaze because it changes how we think about everything we're doing, honestly, and how we think about God. Um, so today, based on what I've said, I was thinking, I think we should talk about the topic starting again. So this podcast episode is titled Starting Again. And I think this is important because I feel like we hear the word starting again or starting a new chapter, as a good thing, starting again, starting a new chapter, I'm going for my master's, I'm going to a new country, I'm going to a new school, I'm starting a new semester. It feels so good or it sounds so good. When we talk about it in the media, it feels like, oh, like, yeah, go for it. Start a new chapter, start anew. But I feel like oftentimes we do not talk about when you have to start again when it's not your choice. I feel like that's the angle I want to come to this topic with is that sometimes some people start again not because they want to, because life has made them have to start again or have to start a new chapter that they didn't intend to. And so I kind of just want us to talk about that and just, raise some questions and raise some, points on how we can think about that today. So, what are some of the emotions that come up when you hear starting again? So, for just to explain, starting again just means doing something different, right? Doing something different that you've never done, or doing something that you've done before, but doing it in a different way. And especially when it's not your choice. That's the angle we're looking at it from. So what are some of the emotions that come up when you hear starting again? For me, it's fear. I feel afraid, frightened. I'm like, I do not want to do this. This feels scary. This feels, foreign. Just feels like something I do not want to do and just feels like it brings up so much fear in me. I think another emotion I feel is confusion. It's like, what is this? Like, I do not know where to start from. I don't know what I'm doing. Just confusion about what is this new phase about? How do I even go about it? Like, I've never done this before. How am I supposed to do it? And another one is not feeling ready, just feeling unsure. I'm not ready for this new chapter. I'm not ready for this new phase. I'm not ready to start again. I'm not ready to leave my friends. I'm not ready to go to a new school. I'm not ready to get a new job. Like, I'm just not ready. I'm so unsure of everything. So, those are some of the emotions I think about. And, as you're listening, maybe you can also think of some emotions. Maybe some doubts come. Just a lot of things that you've never done. It's a new thing, right? Those are some of the normal emotions that you feel, right? And even I wanted to point out something is that especially when like your previous chapter was so good, like you were doing well before, but due to life circumstances, like you just had to start again or had to do something different. Like you got laid off from your job. That's not your fault, right? Right? Like you just have to start again. Like if you have a friendship breakup, you just have to start again. Like some of these things is like, oh, things were good before. Like I really loved what I was doing before, but I really cannot change that. I really cannot do anything about that and I have to move on. So that can feel intimidating and very scary to us. And yeah, I hope that you can resonate with some of these examples I've given. So I want to tell a story. And I think the story will help us to just be able to think about starting again in a new light, or maybe to remind us of how we should think about starting again. So there's this man, his name is Abraham. And if you're not familiar with the Bible, Abraham is the founding father of the Jewish nation. We call him the father of faith. And eventually, Abraham becomes Abraham. His name was changed by God for the purpose of what God has called him to be, right? Abraham was somebody who had to start again, who had to start a new chapter. And I think we can relate to this and we can connect to this story because of what Abraham had to face. And so I'll read from Genesis chapter 12, verse 1. The Lord had said to Abraham, "Go from your country, your people, and your father's household to the land I will show you." Whoa. I feel like this sounds simple, right? But if you think about it, God said, go from your country. Think about the country you're in now. God says, leave Nigeria, leave the US, leave wherever you are. Go from your friends, leave your friends, leave your fathers, leave your family, leave your mom, leave your dad. Leave the place you're comfortable in. Leave that job or leave that friendship group and to go to a land I will show you, a place that you don't even know. And I think Abraham at this point was probably like, God, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know where this is going. I am comfortable here. I do not want to start again. I do not want to try something new, different. I really feel like Abraham, I'm sure at this point he had servants, I'm sure. Like he had servants. He had a comfortable life. But God was saying, I want you to start again because there's something big that you can only get if you start again, if you come on this journey of being of this journey of unknown with me, right? And there are two things I want to point out from this story. Number one is we have the permission to actually start again. I feel like sometimes we do not acknowledge that. I feel like sometimes when we start again, when we have to start again, we feel bad. We feel like we're wasting our lives, or we just feel like we do not have the permission to start again. We feel like, oh, like my past was so good. Like we are holding on to the past. We're like, no, I can't let go of the past. Like my past was so good. That job was so good that I got laid off from. That friendship group was so good that I lost. Everything in the past was so good. I do not want to start again. But I feel like God even calling Abraham and changing his name to Abraham is giving us saying, I give you permission to evolve. You can evolve. You can start again. You can start a new chapter. You do not have to remain in the past. In Isaiah 43 verse 18 to 19, it says, remember not the former things, nor consider the things of old. Behold, I will do a new thing. God is saying, I can do a new thing. You do not have to remain in the past. Even Paul in the New Testament, in Philippians 3 verse 13, he talks about, brothers and sisters, I do not consider myself yet to have taken hold of it. But one thing I do, right? He's saying that, see, all these things I've achieved, they are nothing, right? I'm forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead. I'm not holding on to the past. I'm saying, I want what God wants for me. And if it means starting a new chapter, if it means starting again, I'm going to get there. And so I think this should just be an encouragement, is that you can evolve. There's something in the popular media, they say, you can reinvent yourself. You can reposition yourself. You do not have to stay the same area of where you've been. You do not have to stay the same, insert your name, that you have been, right? You can be a new person. You can evolve. You have the permission to do that. And God is your strength. And second thing is that you can call on the name of the Lord. Have you ever been in such a dire situation where you're just like, God, you have to help me? Like, I'm sure people who have, lost a job or gotten laid off before have been like, God, I do not want to start again. Like in tears, being like, God, you have to help me. And something I want to point out in Genesis 12 verse 8 is that Abraham called on the name of the Lord. He did not say, oh, I'm good, I'm going to move across, miles and miles. I'm just going to go with what God said. In verse 8, it says, there he built an altar to the Lord. So on the journey to this promised land that God has called him to, he said, there he built an altar to the Lord and called on the name of the Lord. I don't know about you, but when I'm unsure, when I'm confused, when I feel fear, when I'm just like, God, is anything good going to come out of this? I can call on the name of the Lord just like Abraham did. And this is just a reminder for someone today, is that call on the name of the Lord. Stop trying to figure it out, because honestly, you do not know. You do not know the answer. Like I said, this is a new chapter. This is a new phase. You do not know the answer. And even in Psalm 34 verse 4, it says, I sought the Lord. He answered me and delivered me from all my fears. The Lord is capable to help you. If you call on the name of the Lord, He will help you. Like, starting again is not something you should do alone. It's not something you should go ahead and be like, you know what, I've got this. No, it's something you should fall down on your knees and be like, God, I need you. Help me today. And I just hope that these 2 points were encouraging to anybody who is just thinking about starting again or starting a new chapter. You're trying something different. You have the permission to do it. And you can call on the name of the Lord. You do not have to do this alone. And God has given you His power. He will deliver you. He will help you. And He will give you all that you need. And yeah, I hope this was a blessing to someone today. And as always, this is the Object of Your Gaze podcast. Thank you so much for watching. And I hope to see you next week. Thank you. Bye.